I've always been drawn to the abandoned and the unknown. And the crumbling psychiatric hospital on the outskirts of town was the ultimate enigma. As I stepped inside, the creaking of the old wooden floorboards beneath my feet seemed to echo with the whispers of the past, warning me to turn back while I still could. As I made my way deeper into the decaying structure, the air grew thick with the scent of rot and decay. I could feel the weight of history bearing down upon me. The accumulated pain and suffering of the countless patients who had once called this place home. The walls, once a sterile white, now wore a cloak of peeling paint and mold, as if the very foundations of the hospital were slowly being consumed by the darkness that lurked within. Every step I took, every door I pushed open, seemed to reveal a new facet of the hospital's troubled past. I stumbled upon a room filled with rusted medical equipment, the remnants of a bygone era when the hospital was still a place of healing and hope. But it was the room next door that truly caught my attention. A space filled with row upon row of dusty old files, each one bearing the name of a patient who had once been treated within these walls. I began to flip through the files, my eyes scanning the yellowed pages for any mention of the hospital's final days. It was then that I stumbled upon the file of a patient named Echo 12 Feet, a name that seemed to leap out at me from the page. As I delved deeper into the file, I discovered that Echo 12 was a patient who had been subjected to a radical new form of therapy. One that had been designed to erase their memories and redefine their sense of self. But it was the notes of the hospital's last doctor, a Dr. Samantha Taylor, that truly sent a chill down my spine. She wrote of ECHO 12's remarkable progress, of how the patient had begun to exhibit strange and terrifying abilities, as if they were no longer fully human. The further I read, the more I realized that Dr. Taylor had become increasingly unhinged, her notes descending into madness as she struggled to comprehend the true nature of her creation. It was then that I heard the sound. A low, mournful whisper that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. I tried to tell myself it was just the wind, but deep down, I knew that I was not alone. The whisper seemed to grow louder, more urgent, and I felt myself being drawn towards it, as if some unseen force was compelling me to uncover the truth. I followed the sound to a door hidden behind a tattered curtain, a door that I had not noticed before. As I pushed it open, I was met with a sight that made my blood run cold. Inside the room, I found a series of old VHS tapes, each one labeled with the name, Echo 12 Feet. I inserted the first tape into a dusty old player, and what I saw made my heart stop. The footage showed Echo 12, a figure shrouded in shadows, as they underwent the radical therapy. But it was the final tape that revealed the true horror, the culmination of Dr. Taylor's twisted experiment. Echo 12 was not just a patient, but a vessel, a host for some ancient and malevolent entity that had been awakened by the doctor's meddling. As I watched, frozen in terror, the entity began to take hold, its presence spreading like a stain across the screen. The last thing I saw was Dr. Taylor's face, her eyes wide with terror as she realized what she had unleashed upon the world. The tape ended abruptly, plunging me into darkness. I stumbled out of the room, my mind reeling with the implications of what I had seen. The hospital, once a place of healing, had become a gateway to a realm of madness and terror, a realm that still lurked in the shadows, waiting to consume us all. I knew then that I had to escape, to warn the world of the horrors that lay within these crumbling walls. But as I turned to flee, I heard the whisper once more, a soft, raspy voice that seemed to carry on the wind. "You should not have come here," it whispered. "Now you will never leave."